Hello, guys, and welcome back. And we are outside. It is finally not raining. It is 90 degrees, and the sun's been in our eyes a few times, but we've got it blocked for now. But it's an absolutely beautiful evening here this evening, and debate evening. We might dive into that here shortly, and we've got some interesting stuff to go over tonight. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here. It's been what seems like about 2 weeks since we had
Mm-hmm.
our last program, and hopefully we can bring some insight into what's going on in the world behind the scenes because there's a lot going on that I think a lot of people may not necessarily be made aware of. Um, Sometimes we're not given all the information that we need to be given. Therefore, we have to do our own investigation, our own research to find out what's going on, and relying on credible sources to make sure that it is truthful. But yeah, it's extremely pretty day. Couldn't ask for a nicer day.
It's nice out here. I'm glad we're back. Before we get started, I'm trying to think. I know I had a few announcements. Oh, yeah, I got a message the other day from Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson's feeling better, doing better. Maybe watching right now. I'm not sure, but Gary did say that anytime we're ready, he's ready to come on. Last November, he was sick and didn't get to do our yearly show, so we're going to be pushing that. Another another big event's coming up in a couple of weeks on July the 16th. We will have the third annual Matthew Perry Birthday Bash, which, if it's not raining, we'll be right here. And the last couple have actually been pretty daggone good. I
Yeah,
mean,
extremely
we
nice.
had some monster steaks about that thick last year. Hamburgers.
Knows this, so she can't say that she found out the last minute.
So, um, what else? We've had green beans, salads, watermelon, and we invite the public. That's the funny part about it. So if you've never been to one of these, then you don't know what you're missing. It'll be the week of the 16th. 16th happens to be on a Tuesday, just happens to be the third Tuesday of the month. So there could be a board meeting that night. So I might have to move it to either the Monday night before or something. But we'll get it all figured out because, he's probably going to go to hibachi or something anyway. But, so we don't want to fill him up too much on steaks and ribs or
Sounds
whatever
good. You're
whatever we
making me
have.
hungry.
But yeah, I mean, but the public is always invited to that, which the public's always invited here tonight. But, with it being debate night and everything, a lot of people seem to be in. They figure they're going to keep an eye on us. We should be the second highest rated show tonight, streaming. But I don't know. But if you are undecided, about who you want to see win the debate, or even in November, we've got a couple of songs tonight. We'll play one now and then one here a little bit later. But here recently, and a lot of people didn't know this, but Joe Biden himself is a country music singer, and here recently he sung "Hurt" by Johnny Cash, and I want everybody to hear it. I may not play the whole thing, but I'll play through some of it here and let everybody watch it as we go along because there's a video to it. So hopefully everybody enjoys this, and here we go. I'm going to take it away, Joe. I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole, the old familiar sting. Try to kill it all away, but I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone
thorns upon my wired chair, full of broken thoughts I cannot repair. Beneath the stains of time.
All right, Joe, we appreciate that. Joe sent that to me. That is his rendition of Johnny Cash's "Hurt." He did a really good job with that. I mean, sounded really, really professional. I'm glad we got to see that. Here a little bit later, we'll hear another song. But for now, let's see here. We'll dive right on in. Where do you want to start? What do we got? I can't remember what in the heck. Let's see.
You got the the first presidential debate of the for the upcoming election that's to take place on November the 5th. Uh, a lot of Americans have let me find the right word, have survived the last 3.5 years because the middle class has been hit tremendously hard. Um, when you talk about the cost of living, what a family would have spent 4 years ago, now they spend an additional $11,000, which means, you know, if you're a millionaire or a billionaire, $11,000 is nothing. That's chump change. But when you're struggling to struggling to make ends meet, you're struggling to pay your bills, you're struggling to put food on your table, provide for your kids, at the same time, provide leisure activities that you and your family can make memories with. It's a tough challenge for the middle class. So tonight, you're going to have two candidates on display. One who is going to tell you an enormous amount of information that is not true. You have to talk about the economy. The economy is the single most important issue that's affected Americans over the last 3.5 years. You go from the Trump administration where you had an additional $6,000 in your pocket, gas was $1.89. You know, the economic cost of goods was low. And if you think about this, the price of goods has remained high, but the global economic market of goods is down. Why is it that various countries around the world are not experiencing the same type of soaring inflation that we have here in this country? And I know there are people out there that are going to say, well, this was initiated during the Trump administration. When Trump left office, gas was $1.89. The average is right around about $3.87 a gallon. The highest it's ever been during the Biden administration was a national average of $5.02 a gallon.
It was what, 470, 480 or something here at one
So
time.
one of the things I did was I put together some of Joe Biden's amazing records and achievements that have taken place in his 3.5 years. One, the most suicides ever in a year took place during the Biden administration. 50,000 people committed suicide in 2022. The most overdose deaths in a year. 106,000 people died in 2021. What's alarming is, and I say this, and I say it with the utmost sincerity because people have been affected and people have died because of COVID. But this country spent more time trying to criticize and de-emphasize the value of ivermectin and hydrochloroquine, and at the same time did nothing to de-emphasize the amount of fentanyl that's come across the border in the last 3.5 years. That says a lot. In addition to that, the highest inflation in the last 40 years, 8.9% in the month of June 2022. The most illegal immigrants in a year, 2.76 million plus in 2022. the highest U.S. average gas price on record, $5.02 in the month of June 2022. The most consumer credit card debt on record, $1 trillion, was economically recorded for consumer credit card debt in 2023. And last, when you talk about this, the most kids that have been diagnosed with gender identity issues. You talk about it, 42,000 in 2021. I'm not sure if people know this or not, but the House of Representatives, Mike, since we last met 2 weeks ago, passed a bill that automated selective service in this country. They automated it, meaning they made it quicker for the draft to take place. Meaning, just like that, now everyone knows the difference between a man and a woman. And that's scary because, and I say that because they've automated the selective service draft. We are on the brink of potential war. But yet, I think a lot of people are unaware that the media has somewhat downplayed it. I don't know if you all remember this. About 3 weeks ago, the media proclaimed that there was a Russian nuclear sub some 70 miles off the coast of Florida. A Russian nuclear sub.
Well, just today, North Korea, well, it would have been last night here, but North Korea sent a thing over to Russia and said North Korea would be sending troops into Ukraine to fight alongside of Russia.
Well, I saw today that Ukraine was proclaiming that they ultimately wanted peace.
They probably need to at this point.
Well, the amount of money that we've generated and given to them, I think a lot of times the government's getting some backlash for that, and they should, because you got people here in this country that for the last 3.5 years have struggled to make ends meet, struggled to get by, and as a result of that, we're spending all this money. And I'm not saying that you don't have economic and monetary relationships with other countries. You do, but you've got to put your people first, and that's something that's not happened since 2021.
Well, you talked about inflation. And it being a struggle on people. But every day you've got the press secretary, Jean-Pierre, and Biden's on television every day talking about how inflation's down, the food prices are down, gas prices are down. All right, so I've got this gentleman here I'm going to play.
Well, I'm glad you said that.
And
because
when you hear this guy,
okay, let me mention this.
You tackle this, and he'll go along with this guy.
Okay. I even went as far as to talk about this as Build Back Better, because they talked about infrastructure.
Right.
We're going to build back better during the Biden administration. Okay, gasoline is up 46.6% since his inauguration on January the 20th, 2021. Fuel oil is up 59.1%. Natural gas is up 28.1%. Used automobiles are up 26.4%. Beef, what's for dinner? Beef. People go to the store and they buy this economic good for their family. Beef is up 20.1%. Pork, another economic commodity that people use to feed their families, 14.1%. Bacon, a breakfast meal of choice for most people.
One of my favorites.
One
of my favorites.
15.4% increase. Chicken. A lot of people eat chicken rather than eat pork. So it's up 8.8%. Eggs, something that is what has happened in America is
But if you've got those,
you're right. Seeing a shift of people getting their own hens that whether they can lay their own eggs and they can save money.
It's cheaper.
It's eggs are up 11.6%. Milk, and the old saying is, milk does the body good. Yeah. Pass it on.
Probably does. If you can pay
4.3% increase. Apples, 6.7% increase. Coffee, the beverage of choice for most Americans. It's the way they start their day. It's a 4.7% increase.
Crazy.
Baby food, 7.9% increase. And
it was already high to begin with.
Electricity. people are having a hard time paying their electric bill. Electricity is up 6.5% since 2021. So you talk about Build Back Better. We're building a future that and I say this in all reality, Mike, because I don't know if America can take another 4 years of the Biden administration. Uh, the very people that claim that Donald Trump would destroy the economy and would start World War III have destroyed the economy and almost started World War III. Let me give you another one. How it started and how it's going. Monthly mortgage payment on a $400 million house, $400,000 home. $400,000 home. In January of 2021, your payment on a 3% 30-year fixed interest rate would have been $1,349. 1,300. That's pretty high. Okay, that's in 2021. That's at the exit of Donald Trump. Okay, January 2024, your your interest rate would be 7.09% for a 30-year fixed interest rate, and your payment would be $2,148. That's roughly about an $875 raise over a 3-year period. And most people, one of the first things they do, they get out of school, get a degree, they make an economic buy, they buy a car or they buy a home. And right now, I don't know how people are going to be able to afford it. So you talk about it.
Ridiculous. Their interest rates on cars.
It's hard for me to fathom, and believe that 4 more years of this will not do us in.
No, there's no way.
There's no way.
Well, I mean, like Debbie Stacy says, most of the working class is doing more than one job now to try to make ends meet and get ahead and meet the bills. And that goes along with supposedly the things that you just went over, that list of things that are up that they say are down. We know better, and it may be down in some places, but they're not here. But like I said, this guy here, I saw this gentleman between the last time we was on here, and this is just your old regular blue collar worker. And this guy, here, let me put him on here just to let you guys hear him. And you guys are going and going and going. I know you gotta be at the same level of mental health as me. Every day it's something new between the fucking news and the fucking stupid Biden and stupid Trump. And this country's fucked. Every day we're spending more and more money. None of us are getting ahead. The rich people are the ones that are fucking getting ahead. I'm tired of struggling. I've done everything I can. I'm trying to be a good man. I take care of my daughter. I take care of my wife the best I can. I can't keep going. Every day it's something new. Then on top of that, as if you're not trying to spend money, you have to. Fucking everything's expensive. I own a painting company. I still can't fucking make it. I'm fucking trying, man. I can't look at my daughter and my wife and know I'm failing. And I mean, there's a lot of us out there that feel exactly like that young man does. I mean, you heard him say he owns his own company and he's still struggling. And it's hard for him to look into his daughter and his wife's eyes and let them know that he's failing, because he's doing everything he can possibly do to survive. And he's not the only one. There's a lot of us out there. Unless you're sitting in some form of office, where you're making like 6 figures a year, something like that, then you may not be living all too horribly bad right now. But, besides that, it's, it's, it's rough. I mean, it's rough. I mean, and, this
and
guy.
You have to have heartfelt sympathy for this gentleman because he, like a lot of Americans, we come to believe that the American dream is being able to financially get ahead, being able to afford everything and then some, and create a better life for our kids. There's not a parent out there that doesn't want their children to have more economically than they do as an individual.
I feel like at this point you're just trying to hold on to what you have to give to them. At this point, I mean, you can't accumulate more because you're just trying to stay afloat, and that's why a lot of people are having to work more than one job.
You're right. A lot of people have assumed not one, not two, but three jobs to try to get
I'm
ahead.
one of those.
You're trying to get ahead.
One day one day you may see me at the gun store. The next day you may see me in Mount Sterling or Lexington, because that's just the way it's going right now. I mean, you could sit over here for 2 and 3 weeks at a time and never see the first person, or you have to go out and do other things because, like she was, probably when you can finish it. But in small business, if you don't see people, you don't survive long, and the next thing you know, the lock goes on the door and you're done.
Well, this economy is killing small business too. I don't know if people know, but Schwann's, which has been a family-owned business for years, and most of the time, if you hit it over a 5-year mark, they say you're pretty clear with your business to flourish, right? Well, Schwann's has been in business for years, but just sold out 2 years ago to a North Korean businessman, and they just closed 54 depots. They're closing 54 depots. We heard today, what was it, Walgreens. I mean, you have all these businesses starting to go out, but I'll tell you, if these bigger companies are suffering, you can imagine where the small business is.
That's one thing. That, as we were preparing for the show, I looked up some of the achievements and accomplishments during the Trump administration. One of the things Trump did was he fought extremely hard for small business, and small businesses prospered during his tenure as president. Now, COVID occurs. COVID forces doors to close. Big corporations get to keep their doors open, and small businesses are forced to kind of take a hard hit.
Well, right,
and
here's another one. Nora just says she retired in December and has seriously thought about getting back into the rat race. So, she's been retired, what is this, 6 months? Going on 6 months now, and she sees already, that the economy that we're currently in ain't allowing people to retire. You might retire from one job, but then you're going to have to either go back and work there or go work somewhere else just to be able to survive.
And that's something that, as people and as a working class citizen, you enter the working world with the hopes and ambitions that one day you can retire, that you've created a nest egg that you can fall back on that will allow you to live comfortably. The only problem is right now, how are you going to accumulate any build if you're having to suffer greater cost at the supermarket, greater cost at the pumps? That's one thing Donald Trump did. And I, with a family of 3 children, and kids grow, kids eat, especially males. They'll eat you out of house and
what
home.
What are you trying to say?
Hey, I'm saying that we are a picture of health. That's what I'm saying here. But you take a growing boy.
You're right.
They're never full. Or it seems like they're never full because they can always eat.
You can go in there right now and hand that kid something, he'd eat a handful of it.
So you think about it. How are you supposed to get ahead? You're doing everything as this gentleman is. He's getting up every morning. He's going to work. He's putting in a hard day's work for a hard day's pay, and he's still having economic costs that's just keeping him pushed further and further and further behind the 8 ball. And that's sad. That's not what the premises of this country was built on. It was built on optimism and the belief that you can become anything you want to become. You can make it, and you can prosper, and you can get ahead. The only problem is right now, I don't know how many people can continue down this path.
The only people in this country right now prospering are illegal immigrants, people who are foreigners making businesses because they get all kinds of tax breaks and regulation are lighter on them. Like, for example, you'll see Cougar Corner just sold out recently here. Well, I mean, I'm an American business owner, but I don't get the same breaks as someone who's a foreign person. So how do you not give your citizens more opportunity than foreign people?
Well, let me give you an example. Add to that. Okay. Keep in mind, one of the 2 political parties voted to fine Americans, American citizens, for not buying insurance. You know I'm right. At one time, if you did not buy insurance, there was one of the two political parties that were advocates for basically
Wasn't that like
fining
Obamacare?
American citizens. Okay, the problem is then this same political party has turned around and give illegal aliens free insurance.
Free insurance.
So me and you
Yeah, me and you ain't going. Well, me and you supposed
we
to be
got to
going
go
across
out
the
here.
border, but
We got to go out here and we got to work extremely hard to provide that extra cost for our family. But yet, if we can't do it, can't get ahead, they're going to fine us. They're going to fine us, Mike. It's at an economic cost that's going to cause my family to be even further and further pushed behind the eight ball. Whereas we're going to give illegal aliens, and I don't have a problem with people coming into this country. I've said that repetitively
as long
on
as
this
you
program.
come in the right way, I
The
don't.
problem we've got right now is we've got a mass invasion going
But you
on.
can't give those people more opportunity than your own citizens who are paying taxes. I mean, that's taxation without representation.
And that's
You
one of the
just can't
reasons
do
the
it.
American Revolution took place.
That's why there was
So
a
when is part 2 of that happening?
I don't know. I would hope and think that,
I'd say it ain't too far, really.
I would hope and think that people would understand that the government was created for the people.
for the people.
If and when that government does not have the insight, nor values, nor principles of the people have the right to, according to literature, abolish that form of government. Americans won't stand up. Right now, we just keep taking it and taking it and taking it and taking it. And if you go to Washington and you voice your concern, is it really truly heard by those that are in power?
Not unless you're standing face to face to them.
You gotta have lobbyists to speak on your behalf. That's the truth. If you don't have a lobbyist group, and we're basically told that, were we not?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a group that can go before politicians to lobby for what you're asking for, then you'll get your voice heard. If you're just a single individual coming, you'll be sent
on a
voicemail
Wilma.
Well, I sent you a picture. Mike, and it's of a United States map. This one right here, and it basically says the percentage of your state's population that thinks the U.S. should start mass deportation. Right now we've got an issue with immigration, and it's a big issue because we want to allow people to come into this country. We have a policy in place since 1995 that says 675,000 illegal immigrants can gain naturalized citizenship. So we're allowing 675,000 people every year to gain citizenship. That's what we call the economic dream, the great melting pot. We're blending all these ethnicities together. However, what I'm going to tell you is on his first day in office, Joe Biden signed an executive order to defund the wall. The wall, as many people think, was a symbol of racism and 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 what I would call xenophobia towards ethnic minorities. It's not. It's done. The wall, the purpose of the wall was to ensure that ramifications, stipulations, and certain policies were in place that you have to follow to gain citizenship. First day, he signs an executive order to defund the wall and terminate the border emergency. He also froze deportations that day, then eliminated the Remain in Mexico policy. So, what I'm going to tell you is during this presidential election, there's going to be an election season spin where they're going to say they didn't do this with the intent to to hurt anybody. What I'm going to tell you is open borders was their plan from day one. Just told you the first day he eliminated the wall, the funding for the wall, and terminated border emergency. And what's happened right now? It's estimated that there is as many as 30 million illegal aliens in this country right now. And are you watching the news? Because if you're not watching the news, you need to be watching it. A lot of these people are unvetted, unchecked, coming across. They are and have criminal intent. There are people that have been raped, victimized, killed, and what's happening? Most of these people were captured, sent back, and allowed to do what? Walk freely right back into this
I
country.
can tell you right now, if you'll private messages, I could tell you where 400 illegal immigrants are right now. Just spent a day with them this past weekend. Over 400, and they're not just what people would say Mexicans. They are tons of different nationalities, like different everything,
And
and
no,
you know, and
My problem is not them coming here. I don't think anybody's problem is. I lock my doors at night. That's not because I'm a racist. That's because I don't want anyone.
but now Wilma says
but
it
you don't.
great right here.
But you're not locking your door because of illegal immigrants. You're locking your door because we live now in a society where 25 years ago you probably left your doors unlocked. You probably
left the door open.
Yeah,
So.
you stopped on the road to help somebody. You knew everybody. We don't even know our neighbors right now. Most people can't tell you their neighbors because
I don't know half the people that live
and
up
I
here.
don't mean that mean. It's just the way things are and the way things have changed. But we've learned over time that it's hard to trust somebody that you don't know. And as a result of this, it's not because of illegal immigration that you're locking your door. You're locking your door for safety purposes. That's why you're doing it.
Wilma says, what about the citizens on the streets and veterans, but the illegals live in the high life? Now, that pisses me off to the extreme, especially when the veterans, you drive to Lexington, Louisville, some of your bigger cities especially, and you see these veterans standing on the street corners begging for little to nothing. They having to live under a bridge or something, and then you go down the corner and here's an illegal immigrant standing there with big Nike Jordan shoes on, all these nice clothes, big bling around their neck, and you're like, this is ridiculous. And what was it Wilma said a minute ago? Oh, she was asking about Walgreens. It would surprise me if this Walgreens, remains open much longer because it's closed a lot. They're saying because they don't have a pharmacist. But I saw a thing today on the WKYT out of Lexington that over 21% of the stores that are still available are fixing to shut down. So a lot of Walgreens are closing. And so it
correct
would
me
really
if I'm wrong.
surprise me if this one lasts.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to say that there is a major food chain that I saw over the weekend that was having a lot of closures, and that was Hooters. If I'm not mistaken, Hooters is closing.
Well, we better get there while we still can.
and that's
Wasn't
not
it
the
Pizza
only
Hut? Was it Pizza Hut? Seemed like there was another one I saw over the weekend that had a lot of stores closing. Now, like Deborah said, Schwann's, who's been around for years and years and years, they're closing 51 depots, including ours that runs out of Prestonsburg, and that's horrible. I mean, a lot of people say they can't afford Schwann's, and I understand that, but I mean, it's still what happened there was 2 years ago they were bought out by a North Korean company, and 2 years later, they come in and shut down 51 things, and they moved the only site in Kentucky to Louisville. Now it's not going away. You can go online and still order your Schwann's, but they're going to charge you $20 to $25 for UPS to deliver your food to you. The little truck ain't going to pull into your driveway.
They want to do away with small business, American business, because big government, big business, same thing. Everybody argues that Democrats are for the people, for they're the ones that help the people, and Republicans are for big business. Big government, big business is the same thing. They're all together. They're all in together.
Would you say this when I ask this question? Do you think the political structure and the political philosophy and ideology of the Democratic Party has changed in the last 30 years? I remember when I was growing up, I used to hear my family and people, around the community talk about how, and I'm asking this question, I'm not throwing a mud at anybody. They used to talk about how the Democratic Party was the party of the working man. And now it seems like we've come full circle where now the Republican Party has more vested interest in the working class citizen. You take Trump. He did a lot for, as you said, small business. Small business prospered during his time because he realizes that those mom and pop businesses are what make communities flourish. You take in this area, Walmart. Most people in Morgan County, typically on the weekend, would always go to Moorhead or Paintsville to Walmart. Now, what's happened is locally, you're seeing more Dollar General and Dollar General markets come in, and they've basically taken their markets to the people in the rural areas, and they're
Except
seeing
here.
and they're seeing their business flourish.
Well, I have mixed feelings about the Republican Party because I feel like your Lindsey Grahams and your Mitch McConnells and all those people are the same as Democrats. They're the same thing. They're taken from the people. I'd like to see a party come in that's for the people. That's actually, you're not in office to get rich. That's not what those were public service roles. You're supposed to.
Well, there's no way you can get rich
You're not
on
supposed
a
to.
public servant's salary. You're
Right.
getting $174,000 to $179,000 a year as a senator,
And I'm
and
glad he brought that up.
$174,000. 170. I want to say it's 179,000 as a senator and as a U.S. House of Representative member. Now, yeah, if you get a political position within the House, like Speaker of the House or you're President pro tem of the Senate, you're going to get roughly about $223,000 a year. But you shouldn't have an economic value of $100 million over 30 years.
Well,
There's no way unless
I think that's a big
lobbyists.
salary for them anyway.
I've got it right here. A Ukrainian official. What's it called? Where they release stuff.
Press secretary?
Yeah, but whistleblower. A whistleblower from Ukraine released this. This is the American kickback money from the billions of dollars that has went to Ukraine. Now I want you to take a look at this list here. Joe Biden, $92 million. McConnell, $89 million. Pelosi, $86 million. Schumer, $66 million. Lindsey Graham, there he is. Mitt Romney, Adam Schiff's on there. Dan Crenshaw, who's supposed to be a big American Republican. Mike Pence is on there.
McCarthy.
Kevin McCarthy, Hakeem Jeffries, Omar, Elizabeth Warren. None of them is below $30 million. Well, right there, whoever Greg Pence is, $17 million. But we don't know him, so I didn't get as much.
I agree with what David says here. They shouldn't make more than the average person. I mean, it's a service.
But I mean,
This
is where your tax dollars has went right here.
A state,
it goes to Ukraine and then it comes back to this.
That's what we've been saying. Ukraine is just a way to funnel money.
A state House of Representative member and a state senator, I want to say, if my memory serves me correctly, make roughly about $25,000 a year. They don't do it for a living. They most of the time have another job. Now, I do realize that our U.S. congressmen, senators, and House of Representatives have to go to Washington to represent our people when Congress is actually in session. But
how many days a year?
Roughly 60 to 90.
365.
Yes. So
you can make millions, but you're sitting up there 60 days a year.
They're making a lot of money because they represent the interest of, as you said, big business.
They're supposed to be in Washington 60 to 90 days, but what they're supposed to do outside of
our
that
legislative session,
visit their constituents and see what they want them to do. Anybody seen Mitch McConnell in this area? Never.
Did you see him today in Mount Sterling?
Did you, Larry? You did.
He was there. Okay. Lindsey Graham was there too, I guess. Yeah. Nancy Pelosi, I'm assuming.
But you know,
what's his name? That Bowman.
Yeah, he got his
Jamal.
He got his butt handed to him the other night, didn't he?
Cortez was there, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's why he got beat, right?
You do know Mr. Bowman, Jamal Bowman, was also censored. You do know that, right? Censored means they kind of blackball you. He pulled the fire alarm on, I want to say, January the 20th, 2021. No, January the 6th. Right. He pulled that fire alarm, and that's substantiated. But,
how can they really represent the average American if they don't live like us?
I agree.
They have no idea what it's like to be us, and that's exactly right, David.
They vote themselves in a race, do they not? How is that possible? Why does that not go before the people?
Well, it does now. I want to say 27th Amendment to the Constitution says that.
That's exactly right.
Why do you?
Because you got to have a financial standing to back you to get your message out. It makes
Which
it
tells
tough.
you that only elite and rich are going to be in those positions.
It'll always be that way. They'll take from us and a little.
That's
I
right.
I can tell you who makes a lot of the money. These basketball coaches.
Maybe at the collegiate level they're doing it. Maybe John Calipari is, but it's not at the high school level.
Here you go, right here. Everybody want to see what's his name? Bowman. This is Bowman's campaign rally on Tuesday, just before he. What the heck is going on here?
And the hits just keep on going.
We have frozen up or something, guys.
I think he's from over in Leesville.
You're still going on my end.
Yeah, but it won't let me select anything. Like it's completely locked up. So
Talking about too much about it.
probably got shut down. Here we go. Here's AOC. Here's her reaction. Well, I think the Bronx heard you, and they just got rid of your boy. So, because that was at a rally for Mr. Bowman the other day, just before.
He was one of the squad.
Yeah, well, not no hell.
About 4 or 5 more. Maybe.
There's a few others that need to go along with him. Let's see. I ain't still on there. Okay. Making sure I ain't still on there. Don't want to get banned too quickly. Trying to see.
You racist.
Yeah, I ain't worried about that crap.
Oh, I just really I meant that for Calipari. Who makes more money at Kentucky University? Who is the most wealthiest?
Did he make more than like
The president or dean or anything, yeah.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Makes all that money and just works for what, 3 months a year?
I don't know. I don't know his lifestyle.
Well, we were told that Matthew Perry was offered the job at Kentucky, but he turned it down and will join John Calipari in Arkansas next year. But
he was with Shepard and them last night.
well, of course he had to be with them. I mean, he has to look like the big shot that he is. You would imagine, are we still on camera? Somebody give this kind of money for noise canceling, background noise canceling microphones. And guess where they are? They're still in the box. And now we hear every chicken, every bird, everything that you can possibly hear. But what I'm trying to do is, I promised everybody a song, another song.
By Mick McConnell.
So we got to get this up here for you if I can get it to come up here.
And let me say this too. I think a lot of people have come to the conclusion that there probably needs to be term limits. Because a lot of times what happens is when you've been there 50 plus years, and we've had some that have been there. Dianne Feinstein was the longest ranking member of
and died there.
90 years old. She was a senator from the state of California, but yet she had signed over power of attorney for decision making to her daughter, but she was still a ranking member of the Senate. Look this up and it's substantiated. I know it is.
How that can even be possible.
But it was going on. She was still a member of Congress, but yet she had signed over power of attorney for decision making in her life to her daughter. So what I'm telling you is, I don't think our founding fathers created the legislative branch with the purpose of these people making it a lifetime
Oh, they were supposed to have a regular job and do their public service. You were supposed to want to do it as a public service. It was never supposed to be a career.
But it's become a career, and it's become a very, very
Well, I mean, they're like you
wealthy
said,
career at that.
being millionaires on $100,000-$200,000 worth salary. I mean, and they're not making choices for the people. That's why our forefathers wanted it a public service. You make choices for the people if you're not making a career out of it. If that's not your main source of income.
God, hide. Anyway, we're letting some of the local people walk by before we play the video. It's another wonderful song. You guys got to hear the Johnny Cash Biden version of "Hurt" earlier, so now you get to hear another version. Here we go, guys.
I got my education for real in the black church. I got raised in the black church. I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community. I had a close relationship with the Greek community. I am Joe Bidenopoulos. We all think I'm a kid.
White House girls send Biden to bed early.
I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
Because he's really old and he's senile.
I taught at the University of Pennsylvania for 4 years.
He makes up so much crap, the country's worried.
Okay, you're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Lying like it's going out of style.
I have the great honor of being arrested on the streets of Soweto.
And hide Joe Biden's life.
I am a hard coal miner.
For a while, they made some he tried.
I used to drive a tractor trailer.
Thought by now they realize.
I used to teach the Second Amendment in law school.
There ain't no way to hide Joe Biden's
I
lies.
mean, what else can you say? I mean, it's some people would probably look at us and say, you guys, shouldn't be doing that, shouldn't be putting videos on there, but it's the truth. You really think the man was a tractor trailer driver? Did he grow up was it an African community? Was it, what was some Puerto Rican community? I mean, seriously? How many, I didn't know all those communities were like side by side. I didn't know you got to pick exactly where you grew up at. I mean, I don't know. There's some special stuff going on in Washington. But anyway, you would think, like I said, that somebody who would take all the taxpayers' money, like I have, got all the taxpayers' money and bought a noise canceling set of mics, would actually be wearing them. But nope. So we're just getting the chickens in the background and people blowing horns and everything else. So why not? David said, we got to get out our message is what I was trying to say. And he's right. I mean, and I've talked to David, before too in person. Even here in the county, things are not going to change if people don't stand up. If people don't take a stand and stand for what they believe in or how they feel about things, and they just continue to get ran over by government entities and stuff like that, nothing's never going to change. And it goes from a very, very local level to state to national, and then, beyond. And nothing's never going to change as long as you don't do anything. If you sit back and just continue to let it happen, then it's never going to change.
Well, most people, Mike, are pre-consumed with their own life, and they don't think that they have a voice that can change it. They don't think one voice can do it. What they don't understand is there's power in numbers. You can get sick and tired and fed up with things, and you can come together as a group, and assemble, and let your message be heard. You may not win, but at least what? You did your part. You did your civic duty to try to instigate and implement change. A lot of people are just resistant because they don't want to make people mad. They don't want to step on somebody's toes. They're afraid that it might cause family issues. Well, here's my thing. You're only going to live once. You're only going to live once. People need to know that. You're going to live once. There's two things that are certain about this life, and that's death and taxes. And right now, taxes are
Taxes
killing
is
us.
killing us. So
They're
I
killing
mean,
us. So, your life is shortened each and every day because, you pay taxes on what you earn at a job. You have to turn around and pay and buy something and pay taxes on that. Any economic good you buy, you pay taxes. So, how do you get ahead? The only thing where it starts is it starts at the local level. It starts by people coming out and taking a vested interest in their community and trying to get people in those positions that have the best interests of the people, not somebody that's a yes man. Because what happens when you
What
got
he's saying is, if you're in District 4, vote for me. So
well, I mean,
for school
to be
board, that
honest
is.
with you, if you've got a panel of people that are going to do exactly as they're told every single day, you're not going to get
You're gonna
anything
get
good for the
what
collective group,
David
the
says.
whole.
I think we need to fix the problems in our own backyard first, which is what you're saying. If we did that, I bet the state level would start to pay attention, and then we can work in on the nation. And that's what you're saying. It's exactly, where you're
And
going with that.
and
And
for me,
if you don't start here, you're never going to be able to fix
and
the
for
bigger
me,
version of it.
I say this, Mike. I don't see it as a party issue. I see it as candidate issues. It's not because Johnny Joe over here is a Republican or Billy Bob over here is a Democrat. No, it's doing what's best for your community,
We've got to
doing
stop
what's best for
getting
your
in that debate
state,
of Republican versus
Well, I mean,
Democrat.
I
and
know
it's got to be candidate versus
Whoever's
candidate,
best.
whoever's the
in the
best.
next few weeks when I start hitting the campaign trail, that's what I'm going to hear. And I heard it a lot the last time. Are you a Democrat or Republican? And it's like this is a nonpartisan race. But a lot of people when they find out, if they watch this program or they find out how you go, they'll turn on you. You know, and but being in a nonpartisan school board race, you would imagine that it's not. It shouldn't matter the way things do, but we'll find that out. Melina said, talking about Mark, prayers for Mark tomorrow. He has to have oral surgery and have all of his upper teeth cut out, and that's I talked to Mark earlier today, but prayers are with you, Mark, and hopefully you'll be back to feeling pretty good soon. Enjoy the applesauce, by the way. That'll be really good for a few days. But Wanda says evil versus good, and that's got a lot to do with it. And Wanda said, "Oh, believe me, it will end up being political." And oh yeah, it's already political. I'll talk more about it. When I do more of a type of campaign like live or something other. But I mean, it's already pretty political. There's a lot of money being thrown around already, and it's not being thrown my way. So, I'll leave it at that. It's not being thrown my way. And then my donors, and a few of them are sitting here close. My donors haven't really thrown a lot of money out either. So,
You gonna get less
so
now.
I guess one on my end, it's rich. It's rich versus poor. Is the way this is gonna go for me. But
Society is.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not all about being dirty and trying to run dirty races or anything like that. But it's you try your best. You know what you stand for. Let everybody else know what you stand for, and then hopefully
Well, that's something with
everything.
politics that's become a reality. Is it's called mudslinging. You start slinging mud on people. There's not a pertinent reason for doing that. There's not any
Well,
valid reason.
well, that's
What
just
you do is you should present yourself as the person you are for that position. And if people feel that there's a candidate that is better than you, I would encourage them to do what?
well.
To vote for that other
David
person.
said we have to stop letting Jimmy Joe, which you've got that started, and Billy Bob getting by with being crooks and not doing best for all. Stop voting them in office and make them accountable.
Amen.
And that's exactly right. I mean, that's right here in the county too. We could sit here and argue about all this stuff, but we'll save that for another night. But when you continue to put the same people in office, and then you sit around and you whine and complain about everything going on, you had an opportunity to fix it, but you keep voting for the same people. That's
Not only that, stop being afraid because someone works there or is affiliated with it, stuff like that. Right's right and wrong's wrong.
Well,
It
here's the
doesn't
thing.
matter.
Let's say it was a county thing, and there was 2 candidates, and it's me and Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going to be sitting here. We're still going to be sitting here talking straight to you guys. Now, when we go out and campaign in our areas, are we going to talk trash about each other? He probably will, but I won't. You know. But what I'm saying is, I'm not about wanting to trash people or anything like that. I mean, vote for whoever you want to. But someone told it the other day. The best way to be saying. Someone said, "Yeah, I know so and so. They're a nice guy." And the reply back was, "Well, yeah, he is a nice guy. But do you want a nice guy in that position, or do you want someone who's going to take a stand for you and be a leader and listen and be responsible for being the person?" There's 2 different things.
The problem with
Being
being
the nice guy is usually a
yes man.
yes man. You said that a moment ago. So that's what I'm saying. You could be a nice guy. You could be, you're a nice guy, but you're not a yes man. Well, it just depends if the money's right. But I mean, I get it. I get you for like cents on the dollar here, to do this show since people think we get paid. But never let a job change you. If it does, it isn't for you. That's what Wanda just said, and that's true. There's no reason. But that I thought that was awesome when I heard that the other day. Someone said, "Yeah, so and so's a nice guy. I really think he's a nice guy." And it's like nobody said they wasn't a nice guy. It's like, but do you want a nice guy holding that office, or do you want someone who's going to be there and be the voice for everybody? Hold that.
Okay, in 2020, good example. In 2020, America had an opportunity to vote for progress, change. The Biden administration, and I'm not talking bad about Biden. He promised America he would solve all the racial divisions in this country. He would allow the economy to thrive. We would be much better 4 years than we were during the Trump administration. On November the 5th, America has a choice to make. And that choice is, do you continue to allow this to go on where, one, you're struggling to get by, you're struggling to make ends meet, you're struggling to pay your bills, you're struggling to enjoy life itself because it's at a great economic cost. It's greater, $11,000 more than it was 4 years ago. And I know there's people out there saying, "Well, $11,000 is not a lot of money." $11,000 to me is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And I'm in probably a far better position economically than a lot of people. But but still $11,000 is a lot of money. I'm a penny pincher. I watch every dime I spend. I'm not going to spend it frivolously. Why? Because I want to make sure that I've got money when it is needed and necessary, because hard economic times can come at any time. Who thought the Great Depression was going to come in 1929 and last 10 years? If we continue on this same path, we're going to be in an economic depression. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make it sound bad, but the economy is in bad shape. And for anybody to say that it's not, one, they are probably well to do, and it doesn't hurt you to spend another $11,000. But think of working class citizens and people that are struggling paycheck to paycheck. There's a lot of Americans that are a lot of people came to this country with the belief that they would not be working paycheck to paycheck 15 to 20 years into a job, or having to go get a second job or a third job to pay their mortgage, pay their rent, pay their bills, pay the cost of living. They didn't sign up for that. So I'm just telling you, if America feels that the Biden administration needs to continue with the path it's on, I say go vote for that. I'm telling you though, if you do, we're going to be in a hard economic. We're already far past recession. We are at the point where the purchasing power of the dollar is minimal, 3 to 4 cents. It's not what it used to be. And I'm telling you, there are organizations in the world that people don't know about because they don't do their research. They listen to everything they listen to everything they're told by the media. There are countries that are coming together behind the scenes that are destroying the petrodollar. Petrodollar is in 1975, the world agreed to purchase oil in the US dollar. Countries like Russia, Brazil, I can throw in there India, China, and there are many, many more, Saudi Arabia, that have joined this, that are willing to purchase oil in an economic value other than the dollar, which means the purchasing power of the dollar continues to go down. It will eventually crash. I can't tell you when, I can't tell you how, but I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And if it does happen, Americans will once again feel the effects of a depression. And right now, a lot of people are struggling to get by. You only add even greater stress on their lives.
This is a live picture from Atlanta. I know everybody wants to see this, but Joe Biden has gained 30 pounds this week. I mean, something other has happened to Biden. He is 3 times bigger than what he was just a week ago. So I don't know what's going on there, but I just wanted everybody to see that. I'm trying to keep, especially for the debaters, the people that are up, going to be watching the debate tonight. I just wanted everybody to see that.
Who's going to be Trump's VP? I look for him to announce to
Larry, well, there he goes.
He did say that his vice presidential candidate would be in attendance at the debate. Now, who that is, yet to be known. A lot of people think
Is it Anderson Cooper?
a lot of people think that what is his name? Is it Carson?
Ben Carson. Yeah.
Ben Carson will be his running mate. I do not think that will happen.
You don't?
I believe it'll be that congressman from South Carolina.
No.
Byron Donaldson, or
No.
I stand by my convictions. I'll say it's one of two people. I think, and I may be wrong, but I'll be the first to tell you. I think I stand by. I think it's either going to be Michael Flynn, former national security advisor, or it will be Ron DeSantis. I could see either one of them.
Tim Scott. That's who you're trying.
And like I said, it could be somebody else, but I feel like
a lot of them this week was saying Ramaswamy was a top runner for it, but I don't know.
It's kind of weird though. I said this last time we had a program 2 weeks ago. We're less than 6 months from the election, and he has not yet announced a vice presidential candidate. If my memory serves me correctly, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I am getting old, I'll be the first to tell you, I could have swore that in previous presidential elections, there were all kinds of advertisements already out long before 6 months prior to the election. Am I right? We're not seeing that right now.
I was press and saying it's Bergman or Burgum. I don't think so. People don't know him. They don't want him in there.
Well, Trump needs to pick his own this time and not allow them to pick it.
Well, Matthew actually said that the vice president nominee will probably be in attendance tonight, and the rumor was it would be Matthew Perry. But since he's sitting in Candle City, 54 minutes away from debate time, I'm not thinking he could get to Atlanta that quick. I mean, we might be able to get you a private jet out of West Liberty, but I don't know if you can get to Atlanta in 45 minutes.
No, I will not be.
So,
I will not be the vice presidential nominee. No.
I heard somebody say the other day he might run for president the next round.
Who's that?
Little Andy.
Oh,
yeah, I figured that's a fact, which we will have him live on the show, when that happens, but because he is our good friend. And cooking, for you guys that wasn't here earlier, the week of July 16th, we will have the 3rd annual Matthew Perry Birthday Bash Cookout. And this year, cooking at the cookout will be none other than Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer and his raw hamburgers. So I want you to take a look at this. The guy has raw hamburgers with cheese on it on the grill. And what was it he said? In the original post, he says, our family has lived in an apartment for all of our years, and my daughter and her wife recently bought a house and has a backyard, and for the first time, we're having a barbecue with hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill. Well, buddy, all I can tell you is you might want to quit doing that, because your hamburgers and hot dogs are as raw as they can get, oh boy.
There's a lot of people like
But it's
burgers.
hard to believe, though. It's
raw.
Hard to believe. One of the richest guys in the world right now, we just saw his name on the list a minute ago, has lived in an apartment his whole life. For the first time in his life, he actually has his daughter actually has a yard that he can have a barbecue in, but he's with these raw burgers. I promise you guys, if anybody attends the Matthew Perry birthday bash third annual, there will be no raw hamburgers unless you just want raw hamburgers. Now I know when Matthew last year, had to cook Aiden in here a medium rare steak because Aiden likes them steaks, and Matthew. So I told Matthew, I said I always mess them up. So if you think you can do it for him, I'll let you do it.
Want to have a dinner here?
Mm-hmm. Everybody's invited. Might even have Andy here, or even the big version of Joe Biden.
I sent you a picture, Mike, of if I can find it here. Right here it is. The big picture. Who is favored to win the presidency? Chance. Each candidate has a winning electoral college or the popular vote in the 24 presidential election, and our best predictions for the outcome based on a 40,000 simulations from a model. This was something that was put out today that kind of simulates who they think will win the 2024 presidential elections. You can see here the electoral college probability. Donald Trump gets 65.7%, 49% of the popular vote. Predicted electoral votes 287, 270 is the magic number. Predicted popular vote share about 47.1. So you can see here that Donald Trump has gained a lot of ground in these what we call battleground states, states that presumably went to Biden in the 2020 election. They now think will go to Trump, and a lot of times, a lot of the ethnic minority vote they believe will go to Trump. I saw something today where a congressman basically stated that Donald Trump didn't have any chance of getting any African American vote. But yet, when you watch in a lot of these cities, you're seeing a lot of African Americans that have they're swing voters. They're swung from the Democratic Party now over to the Republican because they too are feeling they're feeling the effects of the economy. So
They're saying Biden will get popular vote.
that's what it's saying here. That's just that's a. But
I've also got this that I pulled up today, and this is a Fox News poll, choice for president. Men, 56%, Trump. Rural voters is going to vote for Biden. White men with no degree will vote for Trump. White evangelicals, or however the heck you say it, will go for Trump. But ages 65 and above will vote Biden big. Urban voters will be even, and white women that have degrees, 64% of white women with degrees, will vote for Joe Biden. And so I'm like, I want to look at the camera when I say this. For you ladies that's got your degrees, if you were that damn dumb to vote for him, then you don't need a degree. You must have got a degree in stupidity or something, I guess.
I don't believe that.
You got a degree?
I've got a degree.
Then you're voting for Biden.
I'm not voting for Biden.
Get your big blue shirt on right now, and you can get your. And then this is how Biden was supposed to have arrived tonight, but look like there he is. There he is being prepped, for the debate tonight. That's. But as we see, that's a skinny version compared to what we're seeing standing outside. But maybe between those 1 minute and 2 minute breaks they're giving, they're going to switch them in and out. I don't know.
He'll be so high that he'll be there forever. He can't fall down. He'll be so high.
Well, they usually give, a 7-second interval in between the questions or whatever. And tonight they're giving them like 2 or 3 minutes or something other. So, I mean, it's just...
Well, and there's no audience. It's just set up for them to lie and be deceptive about it. I mean, bring on a real debate.
So, if anybody's really wanting to have a little bit of fun tonight, and I'm going to bring these out while I can, while I'm just going through some of our things. This is Crooked Joe Biden Debate Night Bingo. So here's the bingo cards, and they have all kinds of different stuff on them. But me being the great person that I am, so let me get back over to the camera. I have with me tonight Joe Raymond's mommy. But everybody gets a bingo card. So And now we'll go back to it. That ain't what it was. But so there's your bingo cards. And, each of us here have a bingo card. So, whenever whatever happens, if you hit bingo, Matthew will fix you a steak. A personal Matthew Perry steak. On his birthday. I mean, what else? I don't know. I mean, it's going to be free anyway, so what can I offer you? Anyway. So,
Can you pronounce number 3 and line number 2?
we'll probably hear that before he gets out there. Murpez. I don't know.
It could be interesting. It could be very interesting. This debate could.
Here.
They've got a lot of stipulations. The stipulations are they have a mic system set up to where there are no interruptions. You get to speak pretty much uninterrupted, basically. It takes away from what a true debate is. A true debate is if I say something that you don't agree with, I should be able to chime in and but that's not what they're doing. They've got a light system on the mics to where when your mic is green, it's live. It kind of drowns out what you've got there, the noise from the other. That's what we got. So you might hear a little bit, but you won't hear a lot. But it takes away from the true atmosphere of what a debate is.
But when your light's on, you're live. So see, I got these straight from CNN. They sent them to me and told us to use them. Melina said she needs a steak. What else do we got here? I know you sent me some other stuff, but hell, I can't.
As long as it's sure I'm that way. I don't know no tapper.
Well, everybody knows that a lot of people hate Donald Trump. Donald Trump's one of the most hated people right now. Let's take a look at this picture. There's Trump with the Clintons. There's Trump with, what's the redheaded woman's name that holds his head up?
I can't think of her name.
She's there. There he is with Oprah.
She's a comedian. Can't think of her name.
And there he is with Al Sharpton. Is that Sharpton and them right there?
Yeah.
So, I mean, all these people now hate him. The redheaded lady, I can't think of her daggone name right now, but she actually held a picture, a bloody head of Trump up. All of a sudden, when they were told not to like him anymore, they have to act like they don't. But here they are, all smiles with him. So, I don't know. This is something coming out of the debate tonight. White House press corps has petitioned that CNN open up the debate studios to reporters who are now have to watch a feed from a building across the road because they believe there's going to be a medical emergency involving one of the presidential candidates requiring on-scene coverage. So there's really only going to be 2 candidates there, so I don't know what they're expecting. What they're expecting there, but are you watching over there? You got your camera, your phone? I was going to pull one up for you here. What else did you send me here, Matthew?
I sent you that.
Put that up there. What we got here? 51 agents that lied about Hunter Biden's laptop to interfere with the election. Who do we got up there?
One of those guys is a gentleman by the name of Jeremy Bash, second in the top row, second person. His wife, Dana Bash, is one of the CNN moderators tonight with Jake Tapper. He is one of 51 people that lied about what they call the laptop from hell and Russian disinformation. Now, which has been entered into evidence, And I would encourage people that if you really truly want to know the contents of that laptop, go to Marco Polo report on Hunter Biden's laptop. Type in Marco Polo's report on Hunter Biden's laptop, and you can see a lot of what he was involved with, a lot of the negative crimes that were committed. And I say this because the crimes were pretty rampant, but yet the only thing they've charged him with is
what was it? It's a gun charge.
A gun charge.
A gun charge. Yeah.
Gun charge.
Everybody wants to see what my piggy bank looks like under Bidenomics. There it is. And that's why you'll see me working 3 different jobs, or 4, 5 or 6, or ever how many jobs it is I currently have. But there's what my piggy bank currently looks like. You see the piggy bank over there, Larry?
Yep, pink.
Yeah, but this one's for Larry. I want everybody to tell me what they think this one's pronouns are. Yeah. So there's no telling what you'll see on here. Somewhere along the way, Debbie Stacy has dropped off the map. Like, she has just left us. She has quit commenting.
Speaking of pronouns, there was a lady kicked off an airplane on United Airlines. She had an infant child while he was under 1, and she was trying to get on the plane with the car seat, and American Airlines kicked her off because she didn't use the right pronoun and said it was a hate crime because she had a crying infant son trying to get loaded on, trying to get him settled into the plane, and she didn't use the appropriate pronoun for one of the stewardess or whatever they're called. She didn't use the right pronoun. So they kicked her off. She said she's at threat of never being able to get back on United Airlines, and they said that she was participating in a hate crime.
For you guys wondering about the debate, here are the rules. 90 minutes with 2 breaks. Candidates may not discuss the debate during the breaks. No opening statements. Muted microphones when not Biden or Trump's turn. 2-minute answers. 1-minute rebuttals and response to rebuttal. And no audience. So basically it's, Trump earlier today requested that Biden take a drug test. Biden refused. But yet Biden gets all of that. All of that is Biden's pick stuff right there. And, as you can see, that is CBS News. That's a CBS News report. So for you all that says we get stuff from conspiracy sites, that's CBS News. So
I was watching the news the other day, and these swing states, they had Trump ahead and all that. Then here they come on with the whole United States, 46% each.
No way.
I said, how can it be?
There is no way. I think they manipulate those polls. They want you to think that it's close, and if it's close, there's no need for you to what?
Vote.
You to vote.
Or if he's ahead, there's no need for you to vote.
That's exactly right. If he's ahead, there's no need for you to vote. What I would tell you is, go to the polls, cast your vote, let your voice be heard. Show up early.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Instead of 13 to 20% turnout, let's all go.
Let's get 100% voter turnout.
I think we'll have about 30 million more this year voting. The illegal.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant like more dead people.
No.
So you're saying illegals can register to vote?
Is that a pronoun?
What?
Illegal.
I don't know that. So do you think illegals can register to vote?
Some states are allowing it.
What if I told you the Alabama Secretary of State sounded the alarm on illegal aliens being registered to vote through welfare agencies? 49 states. And I want to read this verbatim. 49 states. Anyone who comes in contact with a voter registration agency under the Vote Registration Act of 1993 receives a voter registration form. Welfare offices in 49 states are handing out voter registration applications to illegal aliens. No proof of citizenship is
needed.
Required.
Yep, that sounds about right.
It doesn't matter if the illegal alien gets public benefits or not. They will receive a voter registration form. 49 states.
There's a lot of pull in them states anyway. You can't beat those.
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. In my opinion, and this is my opinion only, it's not that they want to get all these illegals registered to vote. They just want them to be able to incorporate certain ballots in certain areas, like swing states, like, let's say,
Probably
Arizona,
where they dropped a lot of them off.
New York, let's say,
Ohio,
what about Michigan? You know, Pennsylvania.
Georgia.
Yeah, you're talking about states that could ultimately swing victory one way as opposed to
Do you
another.
think they'll really show up and vote?
Do I think they'll really show up and vote? I
They
mean,
say they will not show up for court if they tell them, come back a few years and do this and that.
I mean,
They'll show up to vote.
okay. If I send you, hold up, if I send you a voter registration form because you've been in contact with one of these agencies and you dispatch it into the trash, I pick it up and I cast the vote. I've committed a felony because I'm not allowed to vote more than once in a district. Do you think that happens in big cities? You think that happens in big cities?
These illegals.
You know.
Of course.
These
Well,
Well, let me give you a better one
it
than
don't
that.
even have to
Hold
be
up.
illegals. It
Okay.
could be anybody.
Let me give you a better one than that. Okay. Most people don't know this. So when I report this, I want you to substantiate it. Fulton County, Georgia has moved to destroy the 2020 ballots before they can be unsealed, copied, or inspected for counterfeits. Huh?
How are they allowed to do that?
Well, I'm going to tell you why. They claim they no longer have room in a secure warehouse for those 2020 ballots, but yet they just built and opened a 60,000 square foot election operations warehouse. Just opened it, but yet in Fulton County, Georgia, they're trying to get rid of 2020 ballots before they are unsealed, copied, or inspected for counterfeits. Why are they trying to get rid of them?
Here's something else.
Aren't there older ones they get rid of first?
Have they got a voting booth? Have they got it for Hispanic, Chinese in there?
I don't know
You're
the
not
answer.
allowed to go in with them. How are they going to read that to know how to do?
That's a good question.
Speaking of illegal aliens, says illegal alien who gunned down 2 New York City police officers says killing cops is in his culture. And he works for Venezuelan TDA gang.
I bet you a nickel he's on their street walking
Oh,
around.
I don't doubt that a bit. What is going on with tractor support?
Okay, say it again.
Say it again.
Fulton County,
Fulton
Georgia.
County, Georgia has moved to destroy the 2020 ballots before they can be unsealed, copied, or inspected for counterfeits.
They got to do it because there's going to be a bunch more put in there.
What? Find anything on it?
Fulton County moves to destroy 2020 election ballots, wants attorney fees after losing in Georgia Supreme Court. So they lost. So Georgia Supreme Court told them they cannot, right?
Yeah.
So now they want the attorney fees paid for.
Yeah, and they want to destroy the ballots because they claim they don't have a secure warehouse to house these ballots, but yet they just built a 60,000 square foot election operations warehouse for that. But yet you want to get rid of them. Sounds awful fishy to me. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
And usually where there's smoke, there's fire. Why you want to get rid of them?
Do you not have older ballots?
Yeah.
Generally, if you have some, let's say from 2010, 2012 or whatever, would you not destroy those first?
2018.
Yeah, before 2020. Why do you just rant the last election?
Why?
Most of us have to hold
Because
documents.
there's a reason you do that. Because there might be cause to substantiate that there was some illegal ballots counted in that election. That's why.
For the IRS, you're responsible for keeping your records 7 to 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So why
School
would
records, anything school related has to be 5. You keep everything for 5 years. After 5 years, you have the ability to shred that.
Well, honey, your gun records,
But
you have to keep it for lifetime.
That's
and
what I'm
then
saying.
when you close the business, you have to send it to ATF. So, why is ballots? You think ballots would be kind of up there in importance.
So what have you got? You got somebody trying. In my opinion, it looks like somebody's trying to hide something. Am I
Kind
correct?
of like the debate tonight, right?
Huh?
Kind of like the debate tonight too. I mean, you've done everything you can to keep witnesses from being there. You've got all these regulations for debate. Why not just let you open up and debate?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well,
Why?
because
Trump can't even mention that girl giving Biden money and things. That judge.
so
But
there's
he ain't
certain
allowed to bring
gag
up.
order, and I
What about
guarantee
Hunter
you,
Biden?
I would guarantee you that if Trump violates that gag order, he will be what?
Arrested.
He'll be arrested immediately.
Yeah.
You know I'm right.
But yet you got idiots out here that'll sit back and watch this thing and say Trump just sat there like a knot on a log and didn't say anything. He can't.
There's
Hell,
certain things he can't say.
they've done everything they can to keep him from being able to say the things that are really needing to be said during a debate.
Okay, but what if you're Donald Trump and you're debating Joe Biden tonight? What are the things that you would center on if you were trying to make him look bad?
The economy.
The economy. Got to hit it. Why? Look at the cost look at the cost and the effect that it's having on the average citizen. What else do you hit him at the border? Got to talk about the border. All this unvetted, unchecked, enormous amount of drugs, cartel, MS 13 gang members coming across the border. A lot of violence that's been ensued because they've allowed people that had been captured, sent back, allowed them to come in, freely walk in, and now all of a sudden you've got families that have been affected by that. So you got border. What else do you talk about? What else besides those things? The economy.
I would talk about how the laws don't apply to you and your family versus every other American citizen. Hunter Biden gets by with whatever, and
So you're saying we have a two-tiered system of justice?
even Joe Biden
Huh?
doesn't have to abide.
So you're saying anything Donald Trump does, they're going to put him in a court. They're going to try to find him guilty. They're going to spend taxpayers' dollars to try to find a man guilty of something that.
How do you say a man is too old and senile to be?
Well, the House has sued. The House of Representatives has sued to get access to the Robert Hur report, the testimony where Biden gave with regards to giving telling classified information to a ghostwriter. The House has sued for that. They will win.
But if you listen to the media, they say that Donald Trump is delusional. That if you watch him give a speech or something, he's all over the place. And I'm like, what? I said, are we not watching the same of the other guy? Which now on the other guy, they said that's just right-wing people creating videos. That he's not really like that and like he's the most intelligent man in the world.
I just don't see how you can't see that it's one-sided. I don't care whether you like Trump or not. You should be concerned. If it swings one way, it could very well come back and swing the other way if we allow things to happen like this unfairness, injustice, and stuff. I mean, but it's been going on for a while because Hillary Clinton, who bleach bits a hard drive and doesn't get in trouble for destroying evidence.
So
obstruction of
you
justice.
Want to talk about evidence. You want to talk about 33,000 emails being deleted. Just so happens that Julian Assange was released from a British prison this past week. He made a deal. Guess what the deal was? He would destroy 200,000 DNC emails. They would be deleted from WikiLeaks. Is that about national interest? Is that about national security? Or is that about destroying evidence that could be used against? But I'm just going to tell you something. Once it's on the internet, guess what?
It never leaves
It never leaves the internet. It's there. You can find access to those files. Oh yeah. Do you think that when WikiLeaks, Seth Rich, released those to the public, What happened to Seth Rich?
Got killed.
Got killed. Got killed. Why? Because he knew what?
He knew information on the DNC and them. And
He knew information on the wrong people,
Hillary
and the
Clinton.
wrong people
He
wanted
got
him
Clinton.
silenced. So what I'm going to tell you is Julian Assange. You think Julian Assange doesn't have the ability? He's free. He's in Australia right now. Can he start tweeting? Can he get on X and tweet? What happens when he does? That's coming, because he's going to tell the truth. He's going to let it out there. Huh?
Yeah, I hope he's got
He might be
Clinton.
ate by a crocodile, or
He's
maybe
probably
stomped to death by a
Well-
kangaroo.
Epstein. He'll be Epstein.
Huh?
He'll be Epstein. He'll be so depressed. Even if he says the day before, I will not kill myself. It does not matter. He'll be Epstein.
So we talk about John McAfee. You know who John McAfee was?
Yep.
Same thing. He put out a release that, hey, I am not suicidal. I'm not going to kill
He
myself.
knew it was coming.
But yet what? You know, goes back to what we were saying, Mike. People like things a certain way. If you're in a position of power and prominence, you want to continue that for as long as you can. Generations upon
This
generations
is the problem.
upon
We don't
generations.
require
And-
leaders to be transparent.
Yeah.
That's on every level. It should be transparent. It's the people's money. It's the people's stuff. You should be transparent.
Well, you're transparent with your money. I guarantee you're
Well,
transparent
yeah,
with
you
yours.
have to be, because
You
the
have
IRS
to be.
wants to know every
That's
dollar.
exactly right. So why should taxpayers' dollars not be transparent as well?
That's right.
You know, if you're going to give an example, if you're going to hire X number of employees, then you better have the need for X number of employees, or you're wasting taxpayers what?
Dollars. You shouldn't get to ask for more.
But we have spent money. You know, our prestigious Congress has come many times, and they have voted to send money to Israel. They voted to send money to Ukraine and various other places of the world, and it's at the expense of we the people. People here are suffering. You know, there comes a point where you can only take care of those people for so long, and then you got to take care
Of
of
yourself.
yourself.
That's what
Well,
David
where's
was
our
talking
return?
about.
20 years in Iraq, where's our return? When you invest money, when you invest in something, you hope to get something, some kind of return.
What are the people getting from Ukraine?
Yeah.
I can see
There's no return
the
there.
others getting money kickback, but the people are getting kicked in the hind end.
We're
They
trying
want
to
to pay
destroy
for
a
it.
tyrant. Supposedly, we're trying to destroy Vladimir Putin because we look at him as the empire of evil right now.
But his economy is thriving, and he's taking care of his people.
We know that because Tucker Carlson went there, interviewed him, and they labeled him as a what? You know, they fired him, and they also have labeled him as a terrorist. I mean, there were certain groups that came out.
They tried to, when he went to Russia. They tried to get him not put back in the country. They didn't want him back in the United States. They wanted to leave him over there.
He took $100 and went into a grocery store in Russia and purchased $100 worth of supplies, worth of economic goods, and came out with what would be equivalent to $400 of American economic goods. They're not experiencing that there.
They can't control Putin. That's the problem.
What did Putin get for Brittany Griner, or whatever her name is, Griner?
I don't remember what the trade was.
It was a spy or somebody, Victor something, they got in return. He was supposed to be one of these. He was supposed to be a real evil guy. Can't remember his name.
Well, speaking of Brittany, right there, she is. I mean, something don't look right. But I mean, when I went to school in the place here behind us, I always thought females had bigger chests than that when they got older. But maybe I'm wrong.
That's reporting that she was born with a what?
With a Y chromosome.
Y chromosome.
So
makes
she's
you
got a
male.
deep voice, an Adam's apple, and flat breast. And
a
she's
Y
6'9",
chromosome.
and I don't know.
I just wonder if she dresses in the dressing room by herself or with the other.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Other whatever.
it just, there comes a point where America, as a country, we have to demand better, and we have to voice our opposition to what is going on. We need a justice system that's fair and equitable to everybody. Everybody is treated the same. Nobody is entitled. Everybody has to earn everything they get in this world. And once we get back to that, America can be the great country that it once was.
David says he don't care about Ukraine. He wants to fix his own country, state, and county first.
I agree 100%. I agree.
It ain't going to happen as long as this administration's in there. They're going to go fix these other places.
Well, we had a congressman this week that went to Israel. John Fetterman went to Israel and met with Benjamin Netanyahu and apologized to them. And I'm sitting there going, it's unfortunate that the Palestinians and the Israelis are fighting. It's unfortunate that Palestinians and Israelis are dying. We've sent as much money as Israel has asked us to send to try to help them in their cause. The only problem is a lot of the terrorist actions that are taking place by groups like Hamas, a lot of that is attributed to the $7 billion money freeze that the Biden administration took off of Iran. So we've created a lot of that.
So you were talking about sending money to Israel. When do we start sending money to America? When do we?
How long have they been?
They did. They gave you $2,000 during COVID.
You did. Yeah.
How long have they been fighting?
They've been fighting since the beginning of time.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because, like I said, I don't like turning the TV on and seeing somebody get bombed, and it's unfortunate somebody dies, But a lot of these issues are because instead of sitting down at a table and trying to work it out, we're benefiting from it from an economic standpoint. Because a lot of these big time companies, and I don't mean this being mean, war is a moneymaker. Okay. The Great Depression.
We'll have to go,
Okay.
I guess.
The Great Depression that took place started in 1929. It lasted 10 years. One of the main reasons that we came out of the economic depression is because we start producing war weapons for World War II. Okay, war is economically profitable, but at the same time, it comes at a great cost to American families. And like I told you, they automated the selective service. No longer do you have to fill out that card. It is automatically what? It's filled out for you now, which means we're getting.
I have a question for that. Only males have to register for the draft, correct?
That's correct, according to what I read today.
So if you identify as a female and you're 18, if all males identify as female, how are they going to draft them?
I don't know the answer.
Why would you ask us some hard question like that?
I'm just saying.
But,
you're trying to trick me.
I'm just saying.
I don't know the answer to that.
We're all about.
Well, every boy in America is going to holler they're a girl then.
That's what I'm saying.
You
have
know.
no draft.
Last week,
Well, in the Vietnam War, what did people do? People burned their draft card. They went in dressed with bra and panties on. Men did. Played off as if they were homosexual to try to avoid the war.
That don't matter.
And I'm not saying all did that because some were patriotic.
Days,
some were patriotic. Some did their duty to their country. Some paid the ultimate sacrifice. And what's sad is, if you serve in the military in this country and you serve for me, you, and everybody else, when you get out, you should have everything taken care of. Life should be easier for you because you sacrificed your life, or you took a chance sacrificing your life for mine.
We always talk about, how people have like the red carpet rolled out for them. Every veteran deserves that.
I'll say this: even if they didn't die,
that.
We watched the movie. Even if they don't die in battle or whatever, they still have a lot.
They're not. They're still
there's
not
physical effects, emotional effects.
They're not coming home the same way they went over there.
No, you've got post-traumatic stress syndrome. Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
They should be taken care of.
I mean,
our elderly should be taken care of.
I agree with that.
And they aren't taken care of either.
I agree. Okay, you're 75. You work till you're 65 years of
She
age.
is 70.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
75,
Okay.
Matthew.
You work till you're 65 years of age with the hopes that you've paid in enough money that you can draw enough to live comfortably. Right now, and I'm telling you I'm telling you, I know, because what's happened is in the last 10 years, they've tried to raise the age at which you can retire from 65 to 70. And even it talked about 75. Who wants to work?
Larry,
Who wants to work
74.
till they're 75 unless you absolutely have to?
Can you make it without working?
74 years old, right
Still
there.
working every day.
Right there, retired and still works every single day. And without working every single day, he'd probably be on one of these lists. So.
And I mean, and that's why I say the American dream is you come here, you're born here, you have ideas that you can one day get ahead, everything will be easy, and you want to be able to build a nest egg that you can retire. I said that earlier. You can retire and you don't have to take on a second job. You can retire, you can live off what you've paid in, and you can live comfortably. You and your family can be basically be taken care of. Some of the costs of that are, okay, you've worked your entire life for a corporation. Okay, you retire, they pay your insurance, but you have to pay for you got to pay for your spouse. So once again, you're economically at a disadvantage.
It should be a law. At least 65 and up should get a free medical care.
I agree with you.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
What do y'all think, Larry for president?
If you live that long, you deserve something.
I agree with that, because here's the thing: a lot of times, what you
2028.
got to think about is people aspire to be 65. You can retire at 62 and draw Social Security, but you're going to take a penalty. Okay, at 65, you're going to draw with full benefits, correct? Okay. The only problem is a lot of people don't live to be 65.
That's exactly right.
They die. And
So
what's happening is the life expectancy right now in America, average male lives to be about 76, average female lives to be about 78. Women tend to live longer than males because they handle stress.
Why do you think
Well,
that
we
they're
don't
trying to
exactly
raise
do
that?
all the stupid stuff that no.
Well, I'm not
Yeah, you
saying there's a
do.
lot.
Yeah, you
There's a
do.
lot of reasons why women live longer
Yeah,
than
you
men.
do.
But you're right. You get there.
Y'all are like, hold my beer and here we go. So,
But you make it to 65, you should be entitled to something. I agree with you.
It's like, what you all doing? So
Why do you think that they're raising it to 70?
Because I think they realize a lot of people won't make it there, and that they save money.
that's exactly
Because the economic outlook is that in the next 10 to 15 years, at the rate of people with life expectancy living longer, that it may not be there to draw from. So if you
Well, it's probably not there to draw from because they probably dipped in it and used it for other things other than Social Security. It should have been used as a savings. It was the people's money. It wasn't the government's money. It was the people's money, and it should have been put in a pot.
Wins this election for the next 4 years, Social Security will be gone.
Yeah.
In one of the years, I don't know, 2 to 3 years in their administration.
yeah, when you get into the younger generation, like the kids that are just now graduating high school, or even in their early 20s, which I think is about where your kids are, them ever getting a chance to see Social Security may be a thing of the past.
But yet it comes out of
You
their
know.
check.
it does come out of their check.
They may never see it.
They're wanting them to pay, not to the government, pay it into their, like a bank or something. I know. But the government don't have to fool with it.
Government should have never been in it. Giving the government your money for a savings account is a horrible idea.
I don't know what the heck that was. You got anything else over there, Matthew?
I was looking for something. Hold on just a second.
But yeah, it's a shame. I mean, or probably even my generation, because that's still 25, 20, 25, 30 years, depending on if it's 65 or 70, before I'm ever in an age like that. If I live that long, then, there probably won't be no Social Security by then. I mean, it's just...
Where there's money, there's corruption.
That's it.
Anything.
Root of all evil.
Anything.
Fall of every great nation. Greed.
What you got over there, Matthew?
I don't know. I just had something that I'd taken a picture of. It had a picture of an Egyptian pharaoh, and it said in 2500 BC. Genesis 47, slaves owned by Pharaoh were required to pay him 20% of their income, which was their crop harvest. Well, 2024 AD, present day, the median U.S. taxpayer pays 24.8% income tax, along with 7.6% FICA taxes. On his taxed income, he then pays sales tax, property tax, gas tax, and many other taxes and fees.
Yeah. So there, somebody said if you follow like a dollar around, what you make out of a dollar, honestly, like what you have that you haven't paid in taxes is ridiculous. It's very low.
That's crazy.
But it's sad.
Ukrainians got to eat.
But this, there's a lot of things that
Zelensky.
brought the media, for some reason, does not report. And I keep saying that they just report what they want you to know.
Used to, journalism was going out and getting the story that nobody else was telling. You don't see that anymore.
I beg to differ.
Well, okay.
Okay.
And they call you conspiracy theorists.
I've got all I need right here in this little box.
Give me an example. Okay. We talk about COVID-19. The COVID pandemic will be a time in history that people will probably never forget. Would you agree with that? Because of all the stipulations and regulations.
Well, it depends on how they write it in the history books as to how.
Okay, give you an example. Right now, 5 U.S. states are now suing Pfizer. I don't know if you notice this. 5 states have sued Pfizer for lying about the safety and efficacy of COVID injections. They lied. They basically told you that what? You get this COVID injection, you'll what?
Millions of Americans regret taking the vaccine.
Yeah, I sent that. That was in an airport. That was in a lounge of an airport. Millions of Americans now regret having taken the COVID vaccine.
Is this thing here a two-part?
Yeah, that's a two-part thing.
Okay, so I'll bring it up together.
And landmark ruling, listen to this now. Landmark ruling finds that COVID tests are not fit for the purpose. Now, let me say it again. COVID tests are not fit for the purpose. A court ruled this week that COVID tests were not fit for the purpose of what everybody thought they were. What does the media do? Dead silence. They haven't said a word about it. They ignore it. They just ignore it.
They're not going to report that stuff.
They also ruled this past week, look this up, see if I'm right. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals rules that mRNA COVID-19 shot is not a vaccine under traditional medical definitions.
That's probably why you see all these crazy people out on the streets and doing everything in the world, doing this and that.
I'll say that again. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals rules that mRNA COVID-19 shot is not a vaccine under traditional medical definitions. According to the court ruling, the shots do not effectively prevent the transmission of COVID, but merely and supposedly reduce the symptoms.
mRNA COVID vaccine shot is not what?
Is not a vaccine under traditional medical definitions.
That's
Fauci.
He's special.
He's just a puppet.
He lied under congressional oath. The damage he's done in this country will be felt for years and years to come. No.
It says Ninth Circuit LA school employees can sue over COVID vaccine mandate. It said a U.S. federal appeals court ruled the COVID-19 shots are not vaccines.
Told you. Just wrote it.
And I don't know what I've got here, Matthew, but you sent me these earlier, so I'm going to put them up here side by side.
It's a Forensic Science International did a systematic review, autopsy findings in the death of COVID-19 vaccination. And what did their findings find? You can read the highlights there.
73.9% of deaths were directly due to or significantly contributed by COVID-19 vaccination. See you, YouTube. We're gone. Our data suggests the high likelihood of a causal link between COVID vaccination and death. So, I mean, it's... I don't know. Here, I'll even pull these pages up where
You
they'll be
gotta, and
so
I'll
low where
remind
you
you
can
of
even
this.
see them.
I'll remind you of this, and I'll say this. The very people who are against voter ID, they do not want anybody to have to show their voter ID when they vote, are the very, very people that wanted you to show your vaccine papers.
Wanted vaccines mandated.
Yep. Yep.
Weird how it works that way.
It's weird. Yep. I'll be able to hit them towards your Biden now.
I would say everybody's about to head. Send everybody.
Come on, Larry. You ain't enjoying the show?
He's getting ready to go watch a more exciting show.
You watching the cracks in your eyelids?
Probably say a few unkind words.
Be nice. Be nice. You know, the easiest policy is just to be nice.
What a lot of people probably don't know is at 6:30 tomorrow morning, old Larry goes back under anesthesia to have the stent removed from inside of his stomach that he had put in there 8 weeks ago, I guess.
9 weeks.
9 weeks ago. So, he goes in tomorrow. So hopefully everything goes good there with that. And maybe if he stays in Lexington long enough, he'll get some hibachi.
You like hibachi? No. You don't like hibachi?
No, sir.
He's never had hibachi, so he don't know.
No Japanese, Chinese.
Well, if you get this, you'll think twice.
Mexicans all I like.
They say that hibachi restaurant in Moorhead,
Hibachi Express, it's really good.
They say it's real good.
It's real good. It's real good.
I never eat there. They say it's real good though.
Speaking of Moorhead, La Finca caught on fire the other day. The Mexican restaurant.
First Mexican restaurant ever in Moorhead. That's sad. Melina said prayers for you, Larry. She says she loves you.
Prayers for all of us because we got to get up at 4:00 and leave about 4:30 to get there. So,
what did they ever come out with the reason why La Finca caught on fire? Just
no, it's so sad.
It is sad. I remember going to college. I
Restaurant.
remember being a college student and going to La Finca.
It was a big deal then.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I also remember being a college student and going out to where the Big Lots is. They had like a Taco Tico. You can get a taco for like, I want to say 35 cents.
Yeah, you can.
oh yeah, used to right beside the Big Lots there. They had the CC's Pizza.
CC's Pizza. That was good too. Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of the competition.
See you, Larry.
It was the competition to the hill.
Pizza Hut, wasn't it?
Yeah. It says your Wi-Fi appears to be dropping video data. Switch to reinforced Wi-Fi mode. Nah. We ain't got much longer anyways. We'll be all right. So, yeah, they were trying to get it off the air is what it is. They want us off the air so they can get ready for...
That's all right. We want to watch the...
They want to get us off the air for the next biggest thing, the second highlighted show of the night. So, you got anything, Matthew?
No, it's just be interesting to see the results of this debate. And like I said, you go in.
They're going to mark Biden as winner.
Well, that's what I said. To me, it's non-relevant in the real scheme of things because I think when November comes, people need to vote their conscience. They need to vote. They need to vote based on, how they're living. Are you struggling or are you getting by? Because if you think you can continue to get by, keep doing it.
I'll leave you all with a word of wisdom tonight from what I've been reading and what I've been hearing. If Donald Trump wins this debate tonight, which I don't know how in the world he can because he can't talk, but if he wins this debate tonight, that's how they're going to get the replacement for Biden. How they can get a replacement for Biden, I have no idea. But that's what they're talking about. If Biden doesn't show good tonight, they would get a replacement for him if he's not the emergency thing that falls over or something other like that.
Well, we don't want to wish that on anybody.
So I don't know what the heck that was about. But do not want to go off the air without thanking our sponsors, Outback Guns and More in West Liberty. Matthew here tonight is actually wearing the shorts that he bought
You got
from Outback.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, you know, you got some.
what kind of company?
I've
aren't you?
usually
Hey,
always
America.
got mine on, but everybody started laughing at me last night thinking I wear the same clothes.
That's why. That's
But
why.
I've got like
that's,
40
that's
pair
why.
of
That's,
them.
that's
So.
why you buy about like 5 or 6
Right.
pair, and everybody they say probably think the same thing of me.
Yeah, they probably. I got a couple dirt spots on this, but I'm like, do you see this on the other one? No, you don't. But no,
It's pretty cool.
It's been fun. Biden versus Trump debate has now began. It is now live on the WKYT app. It's now live across all national media,
Lena
and
said
it is
show
not
the-
live right now.
Yeah.
Lena said, "Show the shorts, man."
Show the shorts. Yee.
Look at there. The Outback shorts, guys. There are still some of those available right now. They do come in
Very
the gray.
comfortable.
$5 a pair.
They do come
They
in the
were
gray.
good.
We
That's a
have
good
light
buy.
green. We have dark green. We have
Yellow and medium.
yellow mediums. I mean,
I asked for a yellow pair, am I right, or a blue pair, and you all were trying to give me a medium. A medium. What were you thinking?
I mean, he was going to squeeze into a pair of medium lounge pants.
There's no way I
I
was
did
getting
squeeze
in a
into
medium.
those pants. No, it wasn't as large or something.
No way I'm getting in a
Tom Holland
medium.
said he wasn't watching anymore if you put the medium on.
That's right. I forgot about that. But where's the calendar at? I have no idea where the calendar is. So
We were just trying to get you a color.
anyway, well, it's still a couple of weeks to the Matthew Perry Bash, birthday bash, 3rd annual. So you know we more than likely will be back on the air before then, and then we'll go live that night too. But you know, I was just trying to think. That's
3 weeks.
3 weeks. So yeah, we'll be back on the air before then. I mean, really, it's just whenever Matthew messages me and wants me to weed eat, so out of nowhere. So I don't know. I'm sitting here last night. We were talking about going into the store today, and I get a message. Do you want to work tomorrow? And I'm like, what kind of work? He's like, weed eating. And I'm like, well, supposed to be at the store tomorrow, but I guess, but.
I was like, go on and help him.
Yeah, I'll come and help you. You come and help me. How about that? But no, we'll be back. Just whenever we can get it worked out. Like I said, I think it's been 2 weeks since the last one. So I mean, every other week we can maybe do weekly. Maybe I don't know. It's just
And a lot of things happen. A lot of things are
this
happening
debate's
very,
going to
very
happen.
quickly.
This debate's going to happen. After we go off the air. So we will probably have to have the rebuttal to the debate. Actually, I talked about it. If I had a way to stream a television out here or had we would actually put our picture down in the lower part of the corner and we would do commentary during the debate. But currently I don't have Dish or anything like that because some poor folk in the world can't afford all that stuff. So you have to stick with the old Fire Stick.
Is it only? It will not be online.
Oh, I'd say it's on that app right now. I'd imagine.